Hello and welcome to Leon's Path. This is my Pathfinder character creation. I told you guys I would do one a week, and I am here to do the second week. And this week is a Pennywise type character. I didn't want it to be Pennywise. I didn't want it to be a direct ripoff of Stephen King. That would be inconsiderate, and more than that, just I really like Stephen King's work, so I don't want to besmirch it any. That said, I also wanted to create a character that was going to be fun and fun to play, but based on the attributes of Pennywise. And so I started thinking, well, obviously Pennywise is the dancing clown, and I wanted to come up with a character. And so I started going through all the different backgrounds. I started going through all the different heritages. I went through everything. I went through all the classes. And obviously with a clown, you have to be a bard. So I'm not going to surprise anybody there by saying that we went with bard. The attributes. So let's get started and list those wonderful attributes here. Let's get this over here. So the main things that we want Pennywise to be, and not Pennywise, are Pennywise-like character. Pennywise-like character. Of course, that's spelled Pennywise right, huh? What do we want from him? What are the things that we know that we have to translate into Pennywise? Well, he feeds off fear. Okay, now, how do you do that in Pathfinder? There's not really a way to do that, but if he does a lot of fear-based stuff, I think that can handle it, right? He's going to be the master of illusions, right? So we'll take care of, he really has to be able to create illusions to hide what's going on. Now, in the movies, in the book, Pennywise, after he gets down and he starts feeding, not on fear, but on actually feeding on people, it gets to be known. Gotta get my hands out of my face. Sorry about that. It gets to be known that when he's in moments of high stress, he becomes an arachnid of sorts. Arachnid of sorts. So, let's take a peek at arachnid of sorts. So let's start thinking, okay, how do we create something that's similar to this? So as I said, I started off looking at all the different types, and we definitely came across the fact that this has got to be a bard to handle the clown, like features. Okay, so that's good. The other thing that we wanted to do is, or not we, that I wanted to do is I wanted to make it part of his story. So I wanted to come up with a story. So when I was looking through all the different heritages, the one that I came across that interested me the most was the Fletchling heritage. And the Fletchlings are the shadow Absalom. That's where they come from. And they're known for trading magical goods with Absalom. It's just from the shadow realm. which is really interesting. Fletchlings have glowing eyes. Fletchlings have very, very pale white skin, but are humanoid looking for the most part. So I was like, hey, this works. And then with all the Fletchlings bonuses, I'm looking at something pretty slick. Okay, so we come back to our picture of Pennywise, or what I'm going to now call Tim. I went to a random name generator and I was expecting like a full name, and they just gave me Tim. I'm like, I really like that. And I came up with some backstory and everything else, and we'll get to that. But first, let's look at Tim in the Pathfinder. So we gave the ancestry of Fletchling. Background, he's going to be an entertainer. And his background is he came from an entertainment background. His class, obviously, if he's going to be an entertainer, he's going to be a bard. So we got to set his abilities. And I went with charisma and dexterity completely across the board. And we ignored strength and constitution or wisdom for now. The reason that we went down this path and we did it this way, Constitution, we need that. The dexterity will help us from getting hit, and charisma is going to help us to hit hard. So we're really good there. Let's go into the skill training. Whoops, I still have one remaining skill that I can train. Let's take Arcana. Okay. So here we did our acrobatics. Here we did our Arcana. And here you can see all that we did. We did crafting, deception, diplomacy, intimidation. Intimidation big time because we want to do a lot of fear-based stuff. And then we did stealth. So we are set across the board. We're at level 1. We're trained in a lot of shit. Like a lot of shit. So, our heritage, I decided to go with the rare beastkin. And the reason I chose beastkin is that we could choose a type of animal such as a spider that we can transform into. And guess what? That checks off number 2 on our list. And so I went into our paragons and we did shadow bending. You know, we can help with doing some stuff. We can go into ancestry feats. We chose Shroud Mind. You're dealing with dangerous situations and sinister creatures. You become trained in deception, which is something that we want. Hence, that's why we got the extra Arcana that we use for the training. Or not Arcana. Yeah, Arcana I thought we chose. But anyways, that's where we're sitting. This gives us everything that we need where we're moving forward. This gives us the change shape, beastkin, can turn into a giant spider. Dark vision, or cantrips, or spells, the whole 9 yards. Now, how are we going to build this character to really bring out the terror in the world? First thing I decided to go with was a gladiator dedication. The reason I decided to do the gladiator dedication is you can now use your performance for a lot of different feats. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We had to take impressive performance in order to get the gladiator dedication. Then I took the esoteric polymorph, and I forgot to say that we took polymath as the dedication for for the muse for the bard. So this is going to give us some additional lore. This gives us some additional stuff that we need to work on, or not work on, but that we get. Ancestry Paragon. We're going to start learning how to control our spider shape. So when we get critter shape, it's going to be part of our growth as a character. And we're going to do an incredible initiative, not that it matters. Play to the crowd. Right here, we're going to get more performance bonuses. And once again, remember, with Gladiator, you roll performance for your initiatives. You can use performance for your for diplomacy. You can use performance for deception. You can use performance for a lot of things. And guess what we're going to be? We're going to be a performing fool. So as we go along, we're going to continue to add. And the next thing that we're going to add, I mean, obviously you can see we're adding performance stuff, intimidating glare, toughness, all that kind of stuff, just the standard stuff. We're going to do Shadowcaster dedication. Now we're going to really focus on the darkness. And we're also going to focus on illusion. And we're also going to focus on fear. This is going to give us tons and tons of things that we're going to be able to finish up and to do extremely well, better than average. So let's level all the way up to 20, and let's take a look at our spells. I'm going to start with our focus spells here real quick. We got some really great spells. Shadow Blast, drawing from the darkness. I mean, that what more is says Pennywise than that? We're going to use Dark Light, so we can just put permanent darkness around. The only person that's going to be able to see is me. Shadow Illusion. Focusing on illusions, we're using shadows to create illusions. Come on. Okay. And then I went through the Bard spells. And the reason I come up and I'm doing this is just to show you there's some really amazing Bard spells that work with illusion and or fear. Mystic Armor, you need to protect yourself. It's just going to be, I don't care when, if you become a Bard, you're going to have to use that. Period. Done. End of story. Fear. Obviously, that one makes sense. Duh. And the other thing is, we want to heighten it at 3rd level. Okay? No big deal, though. Soothe. The only reason I took Soothe is because we want to help our guys if we can. And Phantasmal Minion, we have to take because it's our Muse spell. But I really don't care about it. I don't think we'll ever cast it. The next one, Cutting Insult. This one here is your target takes 1d4 mental damage and a persistent bleed and must attempt a will save. Essentially, they become frightened because you insult them. Yeah, please. Teeth to Terror. Same thing. They're going to be taking damage from their own teeth, and then they're going to become frightened. Yes. Impending Doom. This one here becomes frightened. Now, there is one spell that I really, really like. Cozy Cabin. Essentially, you can cast a spell to put a cabin out in the woods. Now, if you're playing a one-shot adventure, you're not going to need it. If you're playing a, dungeon crawl like, I can't even think of the name of it off the top of my head now. But if you're in a dungeon, you're not going to need it. But if you're playing a adventure like Kingmaker, where you're going to need to be outside a bit and where you're going to need a tent, this is like tent times 10. It's much better. It's much comfier. It's better for the group. And Yeah, I really like Cozy Cabin a lot. Only reason I mention it is so that way you can see it. Tortoise and Hare. This one here is just like the haste spell, only now instead of it's you and your ally, either yourself or an ally and one foe. So you're going to haste one and slow the other. Yeah, please. Visions of Death, once again. Becomes frightened 1, becomes frightened 2, becomes frightened 4. God, I hope for a lot of crit fails. Visions of Death is awesome. And on top of that, you're doing 8d6 damage. I mean, just to give you an example, that's 31 damage. Yeah, this is really awesome. So, I did Shadow Blast because obviously we're going to be using darkness and shadows. You notice 6 doesn't have anything. It doesn't mean I'm not going to put anything in there. Obviously, I'm going to put stuff in there. But there wasn't anything I really wanted to point out to you guys. Mask of Terror, same idea. Come on, let's just scare the Jesus out of them. And then 9 and 10, there's a Shadow Army. Obviously, using the shadows. With all this stuff, with the focus spells, with everything that you have going for you, we should be frightening everything. We should be putting everything in its place. We should, there should not be anything that we need to worry about. We're going to be able to control fairly well our ability to change in and out of spider form. And if we're in a bad way, in a bad place, you transform into a spider and go sit your ass up on the roof. It doesn't mean that you have to take it laying down, I guess is what I'm saying. And the spider has a great movement speed compared to the fletching movement speed. So we can actually, where you need to escape, turn to spider, go 40 feet instead of 25. Oh boy. Now we're making some serious headway. There is no innate spells. Oh no, there is. I'm sorry. The Illusionary Disguise and the Shadow Blast and Pest Form. Once again, we're going to be legendary in all these. We're going to be taking care of it. And so in the end, you can see that at level 20, we're going to be master in perception, but we don't care about perception because once we take Gladiator, it's going to be all about performance. We're going to be legendary at performance. We're going to be legendary at occultism. We're going to be a legendary at gladiatorial lore. We're going to be legendary at crafting. And we did the crafting because the group needed somebody to do magic crafting, and I got stuck with it. So, otherwise, I may just take the legendary off of here and put it into something more useful like stealth or society. So, that said, I am happy to announce that is the build. Now, I took all that information and put it into I wrote a little story. This story is terrible. Okay? Tim was a fletchling bard, beastkin abilities. His family was banned from Shadow Absalom and entered Galarian. He started with local theaters, was picked on and tormented. Due to the many fights, he had scars on his faces. He's trying to hide these scars, so he had some tattoos done, and the tattoos were worse and made him look more intimidating instead of less. He did not choose a good tattoo artist. And instead of... so now his only way of becoming... and making money and doing stuff is he had to join adventure groups. So I took this information and I said, you know what? This is a terrible, awful, horrible story, but it has all the points I want to get. And I said, okay, copy this and paste it into ChatGPT and say, hey, ChatGPT, give me a bio on this, all of a sudden we have this beautiful piece of work. Tim is a young, pale humanoid with striking features that set him apart. His skin nearly fresh white. Ethereal, ghostly appearance. His glowing, multi-faced eyes resemble those of a spider. Oh my god, they just hit it out of the park. They're everything about it screams that ChatGPT did a great job. His face marked by numerous battle scars from the years of torment and physical altercation. Dark tattoos of wide, almost unsettling smile. Intent to mask the damage of his features. Oh, yes. The background about him coming from Deacon Shadow Absalom and the Dark Twin City of Absalom. That's exactly what it is. It's the Shadow Realm versus the regular Absalom. It's ruled by whatever that name is, the dragon, and she kicks us out. Oh my god, they did a great job. Has problems controlling his spider appearance. Gets himself into a lot of trouble. Oh my goodness. They did the abilities, his ideals, his bond, and his flaws. Uncontrollable transformation, turns into a spider. Something he has is difficult to control, extreme stress, losing control, terrifying those around him, including allies. Yes, we're talking about, this is ChatGPT GPT did an amazing job converting a really, really bad story into something that is actually pretty freaking fun. And this is my little pup here. Her name is Sassy. She comes to say hi. Now, anybody who did a Pennywise character and want to share it, put it in chat or in the chat. I would love to see it. Please like, subscribe, comment. Next week we're going to do for lack of a better term, we'll call it Nutty Professor Cleric. We're going to do a cleric build. I've never done a cleric build in Pathfinder before. I want it to be something that's going to be fun/funny. So I'm going to do like the bumbling professor type character where this person just falls into the profession of cleric, and we're going to see what we can build from that. The bumbling professor cleric. Let's see what we get. Okay? So, love. As a matter of fact, if my character dies, I'm coming back as Tim in my current adventure. I really like this character. This is fun. This is going to be fun. Thank you very much for sticking through to the end, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a great day.